Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another video. This time, Trails into Reverie, characters ranked, and also team setups. Now this is my second playthrough of this game. I actually played it the first time as Hajimaru no Kiseki back in its original Japanese release. Now I'm about 45-46 hours in on the second playthrough in English this time. Definitely had a good time with this game. Dragged out a little bit, but you know it was still fun. But yeah, let's get into the character rankings. Let's get into it quick, and then I'll show you the teams and a little bit of the gameplay at the end as well. So S plus, we have Crow. Oh wait, let's just do it by status. So S plus, we got Crow Armburst, and why is that? Well, because his buff is insane, which gives him insight for 4 turns, strength, ATS, speed buff. His order is awesome. I spam this all the time. And then he just has generally just good crafts. He has good stats. You could build him with crafts in mind. You could build him with arts in mind. He's just overall, really strong. Probably one of the best characters in the game. And that's just because of his capabilities as, with his arts and with his S-crafts. Now, along the same lines is Vita. I put them together because, I think they're together. Who knows? We're not doing romance in this game anyway, or in this video anyway. So why is she so good? I mean, her crafts are decent, right? That's not really it. I mean, it's just 100% damage for 4 turns is decent as well, but it's really I don't know if you could really see it because I haven't leveled it up, but when this gets leveled up to the max, she gets art support 4. So you can see this. Art support 2 increases the power of partners' offensive arts by 1.5. Art support 4 increases it by 2. So you could imagine how much damage. And arts are already kind of broken in Trails games. So if you give 2 times damage just by linking with Vita, that's broken. And Olivier has the same ability, so he is also S plus in my book because he has art support 4 as well. His crafts and stuff aren't that great, but it's just really because of that that he's S plus. As you can see here, there's nothing that crazy. He has a heal over here, and his order is pretty good. But it's really because of art support 4. Now the other S plus characters include. Oh wait, I'm going the wrong way, I believe. Yeah, like I said, I'll go through the teams a little later. Absolute Delay Gaius. Now what you could do with him is basically so the reasoning is he could just spam True Golden Howl and CP generating equipment, and just keep going back to his S-craft and just continually delaying the opponent. And then for your orb mints, right, we're getting really into it over here. For your orb mints, right, you just stack a whole bunch of impede on him, which I actually didn't even do because I didn't set him up that way. But basically you set a whole bunch of impede 1, 2, 3 on him. Also 7-fold gem. Let me just show you this 7-fold gem if I can. Attack crafts can cancel arts at 100% chance. So you stack this, and then the 90% chance, the 60% chance. You just stack all of them, impede on everything, and then you blast Absolute Delay, and that is why he's also an S plus character. Moving on, you have Taval, which I'm not in the right place to show this. Deval, where are you? Here you are. Spiral Arts. No cast time for 4 turns. Now, you know, if you play these kind of games, you know how broken arts are in Trails. Now imagine, you know, you don't even have to invest ports into cast time, and you just load up a bunch of damaging arts, and you just stack the ATS, and he's there to give you no cast time for 4 turns. The enemy is destroyed, like, and it's 3 BP. Like, bro, this is a broken order. So yeah, he's S plus. Nothing else to say about that. And then the other characters, in my opinion, that are S plus in this game are Joshua, because of his stealth, and he's actually unique where he attacks, then he goes into stealth for 2 turns. So he has a very cool way to go into stealth. But yeah, he's stealth, and so is, let's see if I can get, well, if he's at the front, Rixia is somewhere over here. No, I passed her. Rixia also has stealth and speed bonuses, right? Which is always nice in this game, so you can act faster. And then also Fee, who gets speed buffs as well and can stealth. So why is stealth so effective? I mean, in the higher difficulties especially, enemies just like can one shot you easily, so she can stay alive and keep the party alive, or bring them back up. So stealth is very, very handy. That's why it's S plus. And then the other 2 S plus characters, in my opinion, are, let's see if we can find him. Lloyd Bannings, where are you? Lloyd Bannings with Burning Heart. Now his Burning Heart, not only does it not like push him down the turn order, like you can, as far as I remember, we could test it out after this, but it also restores 1 BP. So if you could stack this with Chrono Burst, you could restore your own BP. Like, you could just kind of cycle it, restoring your BP, doing whatever order you want, like abusing the enemy. Like, he's nasty with his BP restoration. And the other character that could restore BP is Celine. She can restore 3 BP, and I mean, it costs 100 CP, so you just got to figure out a way to restore that, either through, you know, other characters, like Elisa, or, you know, other arts spells to restore CP. You also have a United attacks in this game that could restore CP. So there's a lot of ways to go about it. So yeah, she's also S plus. Now, moving on to the S ranked characters. In my opinion, like I keep saying, in my opinion, I don't want to keep saying it. So this whole ranking is in my opinion, right? So McBurn, probably the strongest character in this game, stats wise, but also he gets this blazing demon form for 6 turns, and his order is 8 BP, but it says CP plus 100, critical 100% for 7 turns. So it goes kind of crazy. So if you're able to critical hit and restore the 8 BP, you can kind of cycle this. So yeah, he's, you know, it's kind of funny that I rank Crow over him just because of Crow's like flexibility, because you're not really building, you know, McBurn for arts, so that's really why he's not like S plus. But yeah, you know, if you're just kind of messing around, he's obviously probably the strongest character in the game. But yeah, he's just kind of one-sided. In the same vein, Emma is, you know, her crafts are decent, right? Her analysis thing is 100% balanced down for 4 turns, which is a good way to get criticals and stuff. But her Luminary Force, which costs 2 BP, gives you 100% magic attack absorption for 8 turns, which is like, what? So all you gotta do is keep up Adamantine Shield and your characters are basically immune to everything. And then, you know, she has good ATS, decent speed. Her quartz selection, you know, capabilities is pretty good, but she gets fire and what is this? Mirage? Am I right on that? Is this Mirage? Yeah, it's Mirage. So she gets Mirage. And I don't know why I'm running Crescent Mirror if I already have it. Anyway, yeah, so you just stack a bunch of, you know, cast time reducing. You know, you just make her arts caster, and she just, you know, destroys. So yeah, you know, she's kind of one-sided in the same vein as McBurn. She's just the other half of it in terms of arts. But yeah, she's great. In terms of other S-ranked characters, you have the which I think this needs less explanation now that we got to these characters. So you got Reen with his busted, you know, spirit unification and all of his various crafts. His orders are pretty decent. You could say the same for, if I can find him. You could say for the other 7 Leaves user, Arios McLean, and you know, you're not really going to be using his order because it's not that great for the cost, but 100% evasion is pretty decent. But his, you know, his buff is good, making him an evasion tank. His crafts are good. His S-craft is good. So, you know, he's just dominant. Like not the best, but you know, really strong. Kurt, I actually don't know where I put him. There he is. Kurt is really solid in a different way. I mean, Sword Dance doesn't even use up his turn, so he gets a turn back after using this, which is broken. You combo this with Chrono Burst and you could basically get infinite turns. If you have a way to restore EP and CP. Anyway, he's just overall really good. His order is not too bad for 3 BP, so yeah. Kurt is S ranked in my opinion. Then we can go to the weaken characters. The characters that can provide weaken for your party. And we can start with, where is she? There we go. Ellie McDowell. Now her accelerate. We're not even considering how broken this is. Accelerate, right? We're not even considering how broken this is for 5 BP. We're just talking strictly on her weaken. Divine Crusade. Weak for 2 turns. So it's just a way for your damage dealers to just stack on the damage, right? You just weaken them, and you buff up your party, and then you just annihilate the enemy. Right, so Ellie has it. Toa, if I can find her. Toa, where are you? Here you are. Toa Herschel. And weaken through her analysis attack. And see if we can find the princess Alphen. She has it in her analysis as well. They also provide a little delay, which is nice. And then lastly, Nadia. has it right here, Thready Bear, and that's an area attack. So yeah, these are in the game because they just stack on, like, so you have buffs, and then these are the best debuffs in the game. Weaken. So moving on from there, we have the two characters. So just to preface, there are orders that can provide accelerate, but that costs BP, which is a difficult resource. For example, Claire has accelerate on her order. Most of them cost 5 BP, these accelerate orders. But that's getting off the topic that there are characters who have accelerate, and the first one I want to talk about is Una Crawford. So she has Quick Star, so for 80 CP you could bring all your allies back in the turn order. You could just bring them up in the turn order, and that's just broken. You give her Chrono Burst, you give her ways to restore CP, and she could just keep spamming, and you keep her speed high. And then you just keep spamming Quick Star, keeping your allies taking action. And the other guy working in Crossbell can also do it, Machias, the original guy with the Accelerate Burst Drive 2 for 60 CP. And he restores 20 EP. So my man is broken over here. Omega Operation is okay. I mean, Una's break order is okay, but it's just really accelerate. On demand accelerate is broken. In addition to that, the last S-ranked character is Altina, and that is because analysis in general is nice, right? It's decent. She could restore CP and HP, which is rare. The CP restoration, I'm saying. And on top of that, she can provide herself with stealth and physical reflect. So, and she could provide delay. Like she could provide absolute reflect, even just as an order for the whole team for 4 BP. So overall, she's just like the Swiss Army knife of utility. So you got stealth, you have delay, you have CP, you have absolute reflect. So yeah, I just push her up there into S ranked. Like you can't go wrong having her on your team. Now moving down to A rank. Now the arts users, I'm just gonna list them all. Like I just consider them all good arts users. You just basically stack the best master quartz and quartz that you can to reduce their casting time and then just make them broken. I'm just gonna list them off. I'm not gonna show them on screen because it'll take too long. But I got Rene, Tio, Wazi, Elliot, my man Elliot, Alisa, Usis, Elise, Muse, Rosaria, Rufus, and Claire. So those are my A-ranked arts users. Like I said, you just stack a whole bunch of cast time reducing quartz. You put some bells on them, and they're good to go. Arts are still broken in Trails games. You just have to set them up a little appropriately, and then you just put the appropriate master quartz on them, right? In terms of crafts and / orders that I feel deserve the A ranking, right? Because I feel like this has been going on long enough, and I just kind of want to show the teams at the end. So in terms of the craft characters, I think the better way to show it is like over here, to be honest. So in terms of the craft characters, you have Sarah, our teacher Sarah, right? Sharon, Duvali, who was hanging around over here, Lecter. They all have pretty decent crafts. I kind of misplaced Lecter. He's over here. Noel, she has pretty good status ailments on her crafts. So yeah, all of them kind of have pretty good status effects on their crafts. Not not to mention orders, because Sarah has accelerate as well, which is broken. Then you have, in terms of like damaging crafts, you have Agate, Randy. They kind of fulfill the same role. You just kind of spam their howl kind of thing, and they lose HP and then they gain CP. Then they could spam their S-craft. Laura is kind of a different way setup, but she's also ridiculously strong. Victor is the same. Aurelia is also broken. She's really strong. You could say the same thing about Lapis. She definitely carried in her team. And unfortunately, Estelle, the liberal characters didn't get as many crafts as they did in their original games. But Estelle is still holding it down in terms of break. You set her up as a break character, she could still hold her own. And then from there, it just kind of takes a dip into the B-rated characters, either based on their crafts or their orders. You have Tita. So yeah, if I'm pointing at these characters, they're really not the greatest in terms of crafts or orders, but they're just kind of hanging around. They're not as bad as the worst character in the game, which I will point out. So you have George, you have Angie, Ash, which I kind of misplaced him. Ash is here. I didn't really point out Milliam. Milliam is over here. So these guys have decent crafts, but in orders, nothing really to write home about. So these are characters you're not really like picking to be like on your team, in my opinion, unless you really like them, because they're just not that strong. And then the worst character in the game award goes to Swin. This guy is useless. Mega useless. Like, his crafts are bad, his order is bad, his stats are okay. But yeah, he's the worst character in the game. Like, talk about like Rosaria is kind of like underdeveloped, and Celine is kind of like developed in terms of crafts, in terms of like just overall build. But Swin is just useless, man. The guy is useless. Unfortunately, he's D ranked. He's not even C ranked. He's D ranked. But yeah, that is the rankings of the characters in my opinion. Now, let me just show you really quick the way I set up the teams, right? So you get 51 characters here, right? In Trails to Reverie. And basically the way I try to set it up is thematically and also, team synergy wise. I try to keep 8 characters together. 3 of them kind of don't really have a place. I'll get to that. But basically I just try to set it up as like, you got your damage dealers in front, you got your mages in the back, and there's like a thematic, congruity. I don't know what the word is, but this is the team that they know each other. So you got Reen, Victor, Laura, Fee, Crow with Vita. Elisa is so Crow and Vita are the mages. Elisa is the CP battery, and Celine is the BP battery. This team is a little stacked, so I try to divide up the power as much as I could between the teams, but some of them are a little more stacked than others. This team is definitely pretty stacked. Then you have the Rufus team, which is like the Iron Bloods. So you got Rufus, Claire, Milliam, Lecter. Duvali was just kind of there already on the route, so I just kept her in this team. You have Lapis, Swin, Nadia. So that kind of rounds out the Rufus team. So these are the frontline characters. You have Lecter as like a mage. You have Lapis, who could be built in any way. She's just powerful. Swin, let's not talk about. And Nadia is just extremely powerful. Totally makes up for how useless Swin is. Anyway, moving on to Crossbell team. So you got Lloyd. This team is just kind of set up already. Like, you don't really have to do anything, except maybe move Arios from the Rufus lineup. So you got Lloyd, Randy, Rixia, Arios, Ellie, Tio, Wazi, and Noel. Like, if you've played Trails into Zero or Zora, this team needs no explanation. Lloyd, Randy, Rixia, and Arios are your frontline characters. Ellie and Tio are your mages. Wazi can be built either way. Noel is there for like status ailments and like items and backup. And then moving on into Class 7. So I took some thought to put this team together, but basically you got Aurelia, Kurt, Yuna, and Ash as like the frontline characters, and then you have Altina as the Swiss Army knife. You have Muse as the heavy powered mage. You have Alphen and Elise as like the healers, like utility backup. So you got the Saint Estrella girls together here. You have Class 7 here, and Aurelia is from the branch campus as well, the principal. So it kind of makes sense, right? Roselia, unfortunately, I had no place to put her, so she's kind of the odd woman out. Her order, though, is broken, so definitely try and keep her in the extra slot if you can. McBurn, I didn't really have a team for me. Ex-Ouroboros characters, like Joshua and Rene. Because, it kind of makes sense, right? You could put... But he's kind of ex-Ouroboros at this point. I guess we'll see in the future games. But, so you got McBurn, Joshua, Estelle, Rene. Agate doesn't even have a spot anymore because you have McBurn on the team. But then he could stick with Tita. You have Olivier, and then I stuck Toval in here because I didn't know where else to put him. So, the arts users can stick together. He could be a backup frontline character. Tita is utility. Rene is the OP magic user. Then you got the rest of the guys on the front line. So yeah, I think this team came together well. Then you have Class 7. So you got Sarah, Sharon, who usually is linked together with Elisa, but I think in this case she could just be like buddy with Sarah, right? Because they kind of have a history. Then you got Gaius, Machias, Eustace, Emma, Elliot, Toa. And I kind of stuck at Angie and Georgie here because they have nowhere else to go, so they're just gonna hang out with Toa back here. They have decent orders, George especially. But in terms of gameplay, they're not the best. So I don't really think they have a place in a team. But Toa is the weakened character, can be a utility character. Elliot is a strong mage. Emma we talked about, OP. Eustace is good with crafts and arts. Machias, Gaius, Sharon, and Sarah are on the front line. And that is really it. Those are the 6 teams I came up with. And those, as I said, are the character rankings. Yeah, I hope this helped you guys out to have some fun with the game. If you're looking for some gameplay, maybe I could show that later. But yeah, I think this covered everything. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Take care.